Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you some thoughts that revolve around a quote that has always given me comfort when I am trying to understand the effects of change and trial and tribulation. And it comes to us from Marilyn Ferguson, an American futurist best known for her book, The Aquarian Conspiracy. And she wrote in that book, "It is not so much that we are afraid of change or so in love with the old ways, but it's that place in between that we fear. It is like being between trapezes. It is Linus when his blanket is in the dryer. There is nothing to hold on to." What really strikes me about this writing from Ferguson is that she talks about how it's like being between two trapezes. And that is, of course, the letting go of one bar before you've grabbed a hold of the next. You're literally suspended in midair, and you have this feeling that if you do not act quickly, that you will plummet to an untimely end on the ground below. And that, like I spoke about yesterday, is an illusion. In our lives, when great change comes, yes, there are times and situations, circumstances, where we need to act quickly. But in this particular case, in our current context, with the pandemic, with sheltering in place, and social and physical distancing, and washing our hands, and not touching our face, and wearing a mask, are all things that we need to do right now. There is another view of where we're at. And that is that place in between, which I keep coming back to this week as I meditate on where we are. That place in between what was and that place looking forward to what will be. And what was, we thought we knew, but in a moment, everything changed. And that new thing that we think we know what it's going to be like, but we're not so certain, and that creates even more anxiety. The anxiety that I think is beautifully expressed by when she says it's like Linus from Charlie Brown, Linus when his blanket is in the dryer. You know, Linus was that character on the Peanuts that always had that blanket that he took with him wherever he went. And if you would take Linus's blanket away from him, he would become very nervous and upset. And if any of you have cared for children who have that their favorite blanket or blankie or toy, and when you take it away from them, they freak out, well, what do? I had a favorite blanket when I was a very young child. And my mother tried to get that thing away from me because she thought that that was what she should have done. And you hear stories about people who would simply cut the blanket smaller every couple of days so that the child wouldn't notice that the blankie was being taken away. The idea here was thinking that the child would be better sleeping without and independent of the blankie. Perhaps to help them face their fears. I'm not certain. I say let the kid have their blankie, right? What's it going to hurt? But for us, in the midst of a pandemic, with everything that's going on, the old life is like our blanket. It has been taken away and put into the dryer, and we have to wait for it to dry out and get done before it can be handed back to us. How awful is that? Plus, it will be different when it gets handed back to us, this blanket, this list of expectations we place on what our lives would hopefully be like, and we're not all sure how we feel about that. And you know what? That's okay. It is perfectly natural to be nervous and riddled with anxiety when your blanket is in the dryer, right? It is perfectly natural to fear plummeting to your untimely death if you're jumping from one trapeze to another, something that I cannot even imagine personally doing. It is perfectly natural to feel everything that you are feeling. It is okay, right? These are extraordinary times. We are going to have extraordinary feelings. But know this, The other trapeze does come. The blanket does eventually come out of the dryer, and life will go on. You are not alone. We are all in this together. My name is Pastor Rob, and this is our 5-minute meditation. Holy Trinity Community Church, together, we are the difference.